Relevancy. The quality or state of being closely connected or appropriate within a specific context. It's a very important definition when it comes to our favorite pop culture media. Over the years, many of our favorite anime, manga, light novels, and other forms of Japanese media eventually come to light and adopt the title. Although in recent years, from 2020 at least, there's been a massive influx of a lot of random characters just popping up. A lot of these characters have pretty bland and boring stories, but what makes them pop out is the fact that their fan bases love to scale them dramatically high, to the point where they're being compared to characters like Goku. In fact, these characters are mainly compared to Goku. I wonder if there's a title for these characters who randomly pop up, have pretty mid stories, and are scaled dramatically high by their brain-dead fans.
Introducing the Relevancy League.
This is the most popular group of random anime, manga, light novel, and some of these characters don't really have any continuity, but a bunch of random characters that are, scaled dramatically high by their fan base for absolutely no reason, just to be compared to Goku. The fan base of these characters consists of toxic power scalers, light novel readers, lolicons, and the Japanese. What makes these glorified lolcows so irrelevant is the fact that their fan bases are consistently trying to compare themselves to characters that are actually relevant. Like I said before, especially Goku. Now, the sad thing about these characters is that they all seem pretty cool, to an extent. Like, Rimuru's, his ability to, and Featherine,
What do these guys even do?
Well, that's the topic of today's video. I'll be explaining each of their abilities, their stories, and what makes them interesting.
There's not much, by the way.
Now, of course, despite a lot of these characters being completely unknown, there's actually a pretty decent amount of them. So I'll be explaining the most popular, the four most popular characters who are consistently brought up the most. These characters being Rimuru Tempest, Featherine, Madoka Kaname, and this guy, I don't know his name. To get things organized, we'll be analyzing the characters' stories, where they scale, and their chances against Goku. Anyways, let's start with the most slandered character of the Relevancy League, Madoka Kaname. Madoka Kaname is the main character of Puella Magi Madoka Magica. The story starts off with Madoka Kaname, a gentle and honest middle school girl who believes she has no special talents. These feelings of doubt soon leave her once her entire life gets flipped around after discovering Kyuubi. After witnessing the tragic demises of Mami and Sakaya, she became determined to find a way to prevent others from meeting that same fate by the hands of witches. When Imuru's repeated time loops reveal that Madoka's potential grows to a cosmic scale, giving her the power to reshape reality itself. With this newfound power, she's granted the ability to make a wish. She makes a wish for all witches of all points of time to be completely erased, erasing them from the past, the present, and the future. This power also transforms her into the Law of Cycles, a timeless force of hope who guides magical girls to peace instead of despair, blah blah blah, yeah, whatever. Now, the story is actually very deep and falls into plenty of themes of sacrifice, tragedy, and despair. But despite all of the hate she's been getting from TikTok and other social media platforms, Madoka is actually a really well-written character and easily my favorite character from the Relevancy League. Oh, and there's still far more information about Madoka and her story, but that'd make this video way too long. So if you want to do a deep analysis, do the research yourself. It's actually pretty interesting. Now that we analyzed her character, let's get into where she scales. Madoka has a form that is known as Ultimate Madoka. Within this form, Madoka makes a wish that rewrites every timeline Hanma are created, thus making her capable of massively affecting several points of time, affecting all points in the past, present, and future. Madoka also ascends into a state of abstract existence, making her beyond physicality as a whole. This abstract transcendence allows her to exist within a dimension with no physical direction and without space or time. Now, this is all pretty impressive on paper, but when you look deeper into it, it really isn't that impressive. First of all, her being able to affect multiple universes throughout all points of time doesn't necessarily scale her above all those points. Having a wide range doesn't necessarily correlate to superiority over the target you're trying to affect. So for all we know, she's just exerting whatever AP you might have for her over a multiversal range. Now, this isn't qualified for infinite speed, without a doubt. But at the same time, this doesn't grant her multiversal AP off of her affecting a single target alone. Now, as for her existing as a concept, you'd have to argue what semantics qualify for her existing beyond anything on a dimensional framework. Being an abstract concept doesn't necessarily scale you anywhere. The concept of hot dogs isn't in a higher plane of dimensionality. It's abstract. There's no real substance that grants her being a higher dimensional concept, which means she's a subjective concept, which effectively scales her nowhere. Overall, from everything I just listed, this would all grant Madoka Universal Plus to low multiversal with infinite speeds. Now let's move on to another magic-related female character, Featherine. Featherine Augustus Aurora is the creator-level witch who stands above the entire narrative of Umineko, acting as both its observer and its author. She's completely above the entire story on a meta-narrative level, being able to completely rewrite and change the course of actions instantaneously. She's easily one of the most important characters in the entire series and acts as a pillar of the story's main themes. Overall, she's not that interesting to me, but she's pretty cool writing-wise, I guess. Now that we've analyzed her character a little bit, let's see what she's capable of. Now, her fanbase likes to scale her to abysmal levels of power due to her being superior to her entire verse. People get her to high outer versal and even to boundless. Now I can see how she scales that high in the Umanekoverse, but when it comes to Crossverse, which is what the video is mainly about, and she's complete fodder. The only reason why she's as strong as she is in her verse is because she has superiority over her verse on a narrative level. Within a Crossverse scenario, there is no narrative for her to manipulate. There is nothing that she can be superior over to. She effectively has no superiority over anyone or anything else within a Crossverse scenario. Her main hacks revolve around her superior narrative abilities, which wouldn't affect anyone due to her not being able to use them without a narrative to begin with. So you can scale her however how you want. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, since her power simply stems from the fact that she has superiority over a story that she considers fiction, and all her feats are displayed in said story. Moving on, the next one is pretty embarrassing. Introducing the most unknown character of all fiction, Hajun. I genuinely couldn't find anything interesting about him that's worth analyzing. He comes from a game, from the PSP, and he isn't even that relevant. He's not from a single anime, or a manga, or a light novel. He's unironically less known and has less poses than my OC. Most of his stands aren't even properly translated. They're all just fan translations that aren't accurate, nor are they official. He literally only has 3 poses. Nothing about this guy is interesting at all. He doesn't even have a fucking storyline. He's literally just some dude. I struggled to find a single good way to scale him because he's just that unknown and useless. And his fans glaze him like he's the strongest in fiction. And they can't even show me 5 different images of him. They don't even know the name of his verse. They don't even know where he's from. This guy's unknown. I genuinely find it sad how motherfuckers said he would be like the strongest anime character when he's not even from an anime. He's from a game. He doesn't have a manga. He doesn't have a light novel. He doesn't have an anime. He's literally just some dude from a Japanese exclusive, non-translated video game on the PSP. I don't even want to know how they found him to begin with. This is easily the most irrelevant member of the Relevancy League, without a shadow of the doubt. I couldn't find anything on him. There's probably someone who scaled him, like actually properly scaled him. Kudos to that person. Awesome, man. I'm proud of you. This dude is unknown. I'm actually really disappointed, you know? Like, he's literally by far, the most glazed member of the league. People say he's top 1 in anime all the time. Back in 2021, he used to be in all them power scaling edits, and guess who got all the fucking points? Him. Just to be completely useless, fodder, and unknown. So for this portion of the video, we're just gonna dedicate it to Slandering Hajun, and he's now going to be officially disqualified from the rest of this video, because he's genuinely so useless and fraudulent. It's just sad. Now that we've got that thing out of the way, let's get back to the video. Now, we'll be analyzing the face of the Relevancy League, and arguably the most popular of the entire league, Rimuru Tempest. Rimuru begins as Satori Mikami, a 37-year-old salesman who dies tragically and is reincarnated as a slime in a fantasy world. His new identity, Rimuru Tempest, emerges from the rebirth, marking the start of his journey. As the story progresses, his goal expands to create a world where all living beings in this fantasy world can coexist without any trouble and live happily. His ideals revolve around the idea that power is a very serious tool that could be weaponized if given into the wrong hands. He uses the powers he's been given to show dominance not only physically, but politically as well. He's very cunning with his words, stern on his beliefs, and genuinely a good and gentle leader. Overall, he's a pretty decently written character, who's actually so much more than just an OP slime. If it wasn't for the amount of glaze this little guy gets, he'd actually be one of my favorite characters. But now that we've analyzed the story, let's get into his capabilities. He's a pretty hacksy guy. He has decent space-time manipulation, existence erasure, conceptual consumption, and subdimensional creation. There are so many more, but going over all of them would make this video much longer than it needs to be. Once again, he's pretty strong with all of his abilities, but the important thing about him is where he scales, which is the main issue with this little slime guy. A lot of Tensura lasers scale him to absurd levels of strength, getting him from high complex multi to even outer versal. Now, a lot of these arguments don't really make any sense. The main arguments Tensura lasers use are the Labyrinth arguments. The Labyrinth is a pocket dimension created by Ramiri's skill, Small World. People try to argue that this gets him into layers of higher dimensionality, which doesn't really make any sense, especially since the Labyrinth is affected by things that entail lower dimensional properties, like being affected by nighttime. The Labyrinth is consistently shown to be underground, within a planet. That planet being the Cardinal World, which is verbatim stated, to be a miniature Earth. Unless the Earth is somehow a complex multiversal construct, there's practically no way for Rimuru to scale anywhere near these multiversal levels of range. Even with this, with the feat that he's been shown, recreating the Cardinal World several times, this doesn't even qualify for solar system level. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible for him to scale above 3D. I just haven't seen any justifiable arguments other than the ratty scales and crazy highballing for Rimuru getting past this. As I said before, the best feat he's been shown was recreating the cardinal world thousands of times over, which once again, isn't even solar system level. So from all I've gathered, Rimuru doesn't really scale all that high. And if I'm being honest, none of these dudes really scale that high either. Madoka is a concept, which effectively scales her nowhere. Featherine is an author. Hajun isn't even an anime character. And Rimuru is a fraud. Overall, none of these characters actually stand a chance against even base Goku. They all get one-shotted, erased, or dealt with in some other kind of way. Anyways, I had a lot of fun making this. I've actually been writing the script for this since early May, and I got really lazy. So I apologize for the inconsistent upload schedule, and I will be trying to post more often, especially since it's summer for me and school doesn't start until August. So thank you all for watching. If you really like my content, please be sure to like, subscribe, do all that biz. Make sure you follow my socials in the description as well. And I'll be seeing you all in the next video. If you disagree with anything I said, please be sure to let me know in the comments. And if you're gonna be disingenuous, just know I'm probably not gonna respond. And I'm definitely gonna block you if you try DMing me. And if you have any video ideas you might want to give me, please be sure to let me know in the comment section or DM me on my socials. Ciao, everyone.